Hello everyone, if you love gardening and if you love plants, then you've come to the right place. Today I want to speak to you about a topic that used to intimidate me a lot, and I assume and think that it still does intimidate a lot of people out there, and it is the topic of rose pruning. We so often think that this task is more intimidating than it should be, and that it goes wrong so many times along the way. But actually, if you break it down, it does come down to a few basic, simple principles. And in today's video, I don't want to give you textbooks or diagrams or lecture you on anything. I want to show you the simple truths about rose pruning, what matters when it comes to rose pruning, and why roses are so much tougher than people give them credit for. Now, it feels counterintuitive to have to prune roses when they have no leaves on them or when they are dormant and simply displaying their bare stems. But actually, it is this principle or this practice of pruning that stimulates new growth. And so it really is vital to their health, to their longevity, and to their overall performance. And if you are able to get over the fear of pruning them only ever so lightly, you will be surprised at how resilient they are. Roses have evolved to withstand grazing, to withstand storms and damage, and so pruning them isn't limiting their growth, it's actually stimulating them to perform better later in the season. So in a moment, I'm going to demonstrate some of the common mistakes and break them down into 3 mistakes for you, showing you this lovely hybrid tea rose as an example. Now, some of the principles will carry over to climbing roses, will carry over to rambling roses. There are so many different categories of roses. Just do your own research to understand when best to prune some of those other roses and how best to prune them. But for now, I'm going to talk about hybrid tea roses. It's, in my opinion, the most basic form of rose, where you can prune in the winter period or in their dormant state. So in the Northern Hemisphere, my suggestion would be to prune anywhere from about mid-December to about end of February, even into March, just before the growth recommences. And in the Southern Hemisphere, because I used to live there, I used to find the perfect time for rose pruning to be about sort of middle of August to end of August, just before spring kicks in and their growth rebounds. So I'm going to show you what to do, and we're going to talk through the 3 common mistakes. Hopefully you can see this rose in amongst all the other bare stems of shrubs and perennials in this bed at the moment. Now this is a hybrid tea rose, a beautifully scented David Austin rose called Gabriel Oak, and it really is one of my favorites purely because it's the most magnificent pink double flowers with, like I said, an incredible scent. Now at the moment it comes sort of to my chest, and I'm about 1.8 meters tall, or just under 6 foot, and so I'm going to really cut it right down. And this brings me to mistake number 1, which is being too gentle. Roses really can withstand a hard prune, and by trying to get over that fear of pruning them hard, I really think they have the best chance to bounce back and reward you fully. I'm going to assess this rose by coming all the way down to seeing where it grows out from its crown, and I'm going to base my cuts on the main stem. So I'm going to bring it right down to sort of knee height for me, and what you want to do is try and find a bud that potentially grows outwards, but this is also one of the mistakes that people make, and it's sort of over analyzing where to prune. So just go for a healthy looking stem, find a bud, if possible that's pointing outward, and just trim above that. So I'll do the same down here. This bud, as you can see, is going inward, so I'm going to avoid cutting above that one. I'd rather go for this one here, just above it, going outwards, and again cutting at a bit of an angle, as so. So I'll keep doing that, and while I do, this will organically bring me into mistake number 2, which is leaving behind any sort of wood that looks diseased because you feel sorry for the plant. The best thing you can do is remove any form of stem or branch that doesn't look to contain any green in it, and this will just ensure that it doesn't waste putting energy into that dead material. Just before I continue pruning this rose, I need to speak about mistake number 3. A lovely little blue-tit bird has just come into the garden, so it's distracted me a bit. Anyway, mistake number 3 is obsessing about perfection. I think at this stage we become overwhelmed because we think we need to cut at the right angle, we need to cut at the right buds, and we need to absolutely have this textbook example of what a rose should look like in terms of its shape. I think this is something to avoid. Prune the rose to a shape that you desire and to a height that you desire. It truly, truly hardly can ever go wrong if you prune too hard. Roses really do rebound quite quickly and grow very quickly, and so just by pruning them down, you're actually giving it a much better chance to really bounce back and give you those flowers in the warmer months. What really does matter with regard to rose pruning are the 4 Ds. You want to remove dead, diseased, damaged, and small diameter branches. And so if you look at the plant and you see any dead, damaged, or diseased stems, those should be removed as a priority. And then the 4th D is to look at the diameter, and anything smaller than a pencil thickness can happily and safely be removed, because that just avoids the plant from putting energy into those smaller stems, which anyway won't reap any benefits later on. So bearing this in mind, in terms of the Ds, I'm going to absolutely first and foremost remove this. Now, if you were to keep it here, this part is diseased, so that would have gone. But more than that, just for demonstration purposes, I'm actually going to remove this entire stem here, because you can see it is very thin, thinner than my finger. So absolutely no need in keeping that. So I'm going to take it right down here, and I'm going to actually cut away this one and this one too, and just really take it down there. Cut it at an angle just so that the excess water runs down. My cat is apparently also interested in rose pruning. Quincy, are you joining us? And then if I come around this way, here's another very thin. Why does this not focus? I'm going to cut that right against the stem. And I'll continue in this fashion until I'm pretty much satisfied that I have cut them right down and I've removed any of the 4 rose Ds that I've mentioned. The idea is to really create an open frame, one where there can be good air movement and light can penetrate, because once the leaves start growing, of course, that light doesn't get into the interior of the plant. But it's especially important for air movement, because that just really avoids fungal spores from building up, or sort of water droplets forming disease on the foliage later on. Now, I don't spray or treat roses at all. Since living in the UK, I've avoided any form of pesticide or herbicide completely, and I've never had any problems. So it's quite rewarding being able to just let the roses grow naturally without having to worry about treating them. Some of these stems are very, very thin, which probably means the rose could do with a bit more food. I really am cutting it right down. This is not a rose, by the way, so I won't be touching this. This is a perennial, so I'll be leaving it until it resprouts. Yes, I'm pretty much happy with that. I think this will give it the best open structure that it needs for now. Any corrective pruning can of course be done in the summer months. If you want to avoid any long shoots from forming, absolutely fine to prune in in that time of the year as well. This is really to just give it its best start for now, but later on, a light prune can follow. It will definitely help the shape and the overall structure a lot more. And there you have it, a much shorter, sturdier looking rose plant with almost 3/4 of the original stems removed to give you this knee-high hybrid tea rose for now. I think the key message that I want to convey to you is not to be scared of pruning your roses. They bounce back, they grow, and they find their own way at the end of the day. You're just trying to intervene to give them a bit more shape and to allow the flowers to grow on the new stems and give you the most joy later on in the season. So if you've ever hesitated or refrained from pruning because you were scared, I now give you permission to go ahead and do the complete opposite of what you would have thought. Really give them a go, give them a prune, and you might surprise yourself at how easy it is and how resilient they are at the end of the day. The biggest mistake I think people make is not pruning their roses. Leaving them to be causes them to grow straggly, causes diseased branches to take over, branches start rubbing, and then there's not that airflow and space that you want. So if anything, rather prune than not. So I hope that this has been informative and that you've taken something from this and fully to an extent slightly inspiring. Please do consider subscribing to my YouTube channel where I have loads more content like this and where I will be honored to take you along on this journey of gardening and plants and speaking to you about all things green and alive. Until next time, bye for now.